So, Chad, welcome to the Danny K Show at Sonic Flair. What's up, bud?
All right, Danny, how you been, man?
Doing great, doing great, dude.
Dude, I see. Hey, I'm seeing all them hits, boy. I tell you what, man, you coming on strong. You coming on strong. We're gonna have to get some fireworks over here. And,
That's right. Get an air horn.
Somebody said I'm sleepy and to get some rest.
That's right. Look at you.
Hey, we're gonna get some dancing girls over here and some parties, and we
Dude,
got.
You look pretty perky to me. I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, no, what's funny is that, I'm so fired up, so much all the time. Fuel on stress. I'm fired up, enthusiasm. But every now and then when I do one of them videos, and I'm a little bit mellow, and it's kind of funny to watch and to hear the comments, and they're kind of right. Sometimes I'm mellow, a little bit more mellow than normal, but
dude, stuff happens.
I know that's
life.
Really not me. It surprises. But dude, your channel's on fire.
I can't believe that people are going to take time out of their days to watch what I have to say. And I got to be honest, I'm beyond grateful for everyone that's watching and tuning in, as I put these videos up, one or two a week or so for now anyway. And, obviously thank you and all the folks at Acoustic Sounds for, helping out with the back end, getting me out on your mailing list and all that. Very much appreciated, Chad. Very much appreciated. You're a great guy. I've known you for 20 years and you haven't changed a bit.
Danny, I think, I told you this, and I'll say it in the public for the record. I really think you found what you've been looking for. And you didn't know what you were looking for, but you've got a vast knowledge. You have a lot of records. You buy a lot of records, and just for the record, Danny buys records.
Yes.
Michael Ludwig buys records.
Very true.
You know what I mean? If they like, they buy my records from me, they buy everybody else's records from me too. So they're buyers, they're consumers, and Danny is buying all the different labels, originals, reissues. So you have a vast knowledge of comparing things, and so, you were doing this as a hobby, and now you're able to share this kind of information with people that may not have.
That's right.
May not buy 1,000 records in 3 months, you know what I mean, and listen to them all. You can cherry pick and recommend the top of the top. And I think people want recommendations. They want to be assured that what they're buying is the best. We try to show them how the sausage is made. We try to reassure them that Analog Productions, it's called Analog Productions. We use analog 99% of the time, to relax. It sounds good, it is good.
That's right.
We try, but I guess people have been so bullshitted so much that it's hard to recognize the real deal, and people that do it the correct way, that they still doubt what we do. And
or if you're using or if the tapes were burnt up or not, that comes up every now and then too, particularly with some special recordings.
Hey, listen, some of them are lost.
That's right. That's right.
Not as many. If you read that article, you'd think every tape in the world was burnt.
Yeah.
A lot of those tapes were at the studio waiting to be mastered. They were at different locations. So if you see a lot of impulse may be gone, I'm not sure. But if we do one, we either had the master, or in a rare circumstance, a one-off great EQ copy or one-off, one-to-one copy. We're not going to put it out from digital. And if the tape isn't great, you know, we consider everything. You know, on Love Supreme, they had the master, but the tape copy had been used less and it was in better shape. So, you know, every time we do one, you got to look at everything, consider everything, do the best thing for that particular album. And that's what we do, you know, but we know, you know, because you buy all this stuff and you listen to it. And I really think you found what the perfect thing for you to do, you know, you're able to share, you know, this with the world, because this is what you do, and you don't have to call me every day now and talk about, you can
That's right.
tell the world. Instead of talking to one person, you can talk to a lot of people, and we're happy for you. And
thank you.
I'm a little bit surprised on how many hits, but I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. And it's
you
like
and me both, man.
We're like,
you and
man,
me both.
We better up our game, boy, because old Daddy's coming. He's coming up.
That's right. That's right. No, thank you, Chad. I really appreciate your sentiment. You know, look, it's to no one, or I should say, no one is more surprised by this than me, right? I mean, I remember when I dropped the first video and the second video, I was like, okay, how many viewers am I going to get? What's this, you know, 100 viewers, 50, you know, 20 subscribers? What is it going to look like? And here we are, you know, 17 days later, I'm at 2,027 subscribers. Amazing. You know, well, absolutely amazing. So
is really good. Very important. The lighting is good, and you're natural in front of the camera, and you have enthusiasm, and you have knowledge and enthusiasm, and that's, you know,
my old boss, she's so amazing. She would always tell me, motion creates co-motion. And if you're excited about something, I firmly believe that you can get the person watching you excited as well, right? And of course, there's going to be people that are just naturally, you know, they're maybe more introverted, or they don't show their excitement on the outside as much. And I get that. Everybody's different. But I really believe that, you know, to your point, Chad, you know, I love music. Right? Music to me is it's my soul cleansing thing, right? And if I can share that, if I can bring that enthusiasm to the world, like you said, via YouTube, and get other people infected and recommend some records and stuff and albums, dude, I love it.
Dude, enthusiasm is, I don't care what kind of college degree you have. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how, you know, enthusiasm really is the key.
Yeah.
To everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I could give you examples. I mean, it is passion. And you know, people recognize,
yeah,
when somebody is passionate and enthusiastic, they want some of that. They want,
yeah.
And, you know, when you know, I'll get customers that call me and they want the best, and they'll go as long as I'm enthusiastic about my next recommendation, they'll take it. But if I start after a couple hours of recommending records, even though they're buying, you know, sometimes you kind of get, you know, and they follow right with you.
That's right. That's right.
Excited, like, I'll take it. You're like, well, you know, that one's pretty good. Okay, pass. This one's all, you know, it's all about excitement.
It is.
And that's all it is, man. You got it.
Yep.
And, so, share it.
You know, Chad, one of the things I was thinking is, obviously, you know, first of all, you're incredibly in demand right now. So yesterday, I watched the 95th anniversary of Miles Davis's birthday. And of course, that coincided with your amazing UHQR reissue of Kind of Blue, the biggest selling jazz album of all time, and all the accolades that you got, and you know, obviously Acoustic Sounds and Analog Productions, and you know, I saw Miles Davis's nephew, and you know, Ron Carter, man, wow. I mean, I got goosebumps, man. Ron Carter. I mean, dude, he's the last legend that's still with us today. One of the few remaining last legends that's still with us today. And to see him on that video yesterday, you know, that's awesome, man. Godspeed to Ron Carter. He's, you know, love the guy. Awesome.
We got so many good comments. You know, even the musicians, they were very, Kristen Scott, young guy from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Vince Wilburn, you know, that's Miles's nephew. He played drums with Miles. He runs Miles Estate. Dude, they are loving the quality of the UHQ, or they just are so, they're playing it. They're loving it. We're loving them. We're having fun. You know, they like marketing and promoting, and
absolutely.
And you know, we did the Hobson and Bernie Grundman,
yep,
and Fremer, the technical side of the mastering with Gary, the plating, all the how it was made. And I'm saying, well, how do we balance that? Like, what can we do next? Oh, well, shoot, man, we got to have the musicians, man, that we tie the two things together, you know, and we did it, and they loved it. You know, on both videos, I was pretty much quiet. I mean, you know, I couldn't believe Fremer was so quiet. That was
I know, that was shocking.
You ain't gonna see that again, and you ain't gonna see me as quiet again. But you know, it's like, hey, we got Bernie on the screen.
Yeah.
We got Hobson telling the story. You know, we may not get those guys back on the screen. Me and Fremer, or me and you, or we may be able to do this. Same with Ron Carter, you know, and Vince.
Yeah.
They both play with Miles. We ain't getting that again. So and plus I'm not a musician. I'm like, hey, y'all got a question for me. And we had the book, the guy that wrote the book about Kind of Blue, and he wrote a book about Love Supreme or John Coltrane. So it was fun.
Legendary.
They enjoyed it. I
yep.
mean, I didn't know how to feel. I was somewhat happy, but after I heard how happy the musicians were and how much they enjoyed it, it was like, wow, okay.
It looks awesome. It really looks awesome. You guys did a great job. I guess to kind of pivot over, it's too bad Barney Kessel, Irv Kotler, Ken Lane are not alive today to talk about this other record that, you know, obviously, you know, Kind of Blue is legendary. But this other record, you know, it has a lot of history with me personally. And, you know, when I was growing up in Austria, I would watch this guy's movies with his, you know, amazingly hilarious and funny co-star. And, you know, it was one of the very few acts. And, you know, when he had his TV show that were actually not dubbed in German, but you could listen to them in the English original language, right? And so here I am, this little kid, 6, 7 years old, and I'm watching TV. My mother's like, go do your homework. You got to study. Stop watching this slapstick nonsense on TV. It's just silly stuff. You know, you got to educate yourself, right?
So you were speaking English at that time?
I was. Yeah. Yeah, I was. And so, you know, then obviously, as I got older, I got into his music, and, you know, he was always the coolest dude in town, right? The coolest looking guy, the coolest dressed guy, the guy with the coolest manners and mannerism. And, you know, he was part of the Rat Pack, you know, the legendary Rat Pack. And, you know, Joey Bishop, Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra. And of course, you know, when he passed away on Christmas Day, 1995, one of my biggest dreams, seriously, was to meet this person in real life. And you know, when I read the news that he passed away, and I just had moved to LA in '95 to pursue a career in acting, right? And I somehow thought, you know, call it whatever, exuberance, childish stuff, dreams, this, that, and the other. But I really thought that I'm going to have a chance to one day meet this person. And unfortunately I didn't, right? And I actually sent flowers to the funeral because I really felt like this connection with him. And of course, the person I'm talking about is really none other, if you haven't figured it out by now, is really none other than the one and only, the great Dean Martin. And, you know, by his real name, Dino Paul Crocetti, and his stage name, and, you know, how everybody knew him is, of course, Dean Martin. And the record is Dream with Dean. And the reason I referenced, you know, Barney Kessel and Ken Lane and Irv Kotler is, you know, they were the musicians, the legendary studio musicians that played on that record. And, you know, I got to be honest, Chad, you know, I feel so like amazed that, you know, I was able to talk to you and talk you into doing this record and reissuing it at the quality that you did with this deluxe packaging, 45 RPM. And I figured, you know, we got to do a video and a segment on the true story of Dream with Dean, right? Because I think there's so much that you can share as far as the, you know, just working with the folks in the estate, and, you know, just how the whole thing came together. So, you know, to me personally, it's like a real achievement, however small it was, to be part of this, and to be able to have been able to do this with you. It's awesome, absolutely awesome.
Well, I mean, you know, we have a lot of people that call and recommend us to reissue albums, and you know, we appreciate it. But you know, I know everybody would like to see Led Zeppelin. Everybody would like to see us do the Beatles. Everybody would like to see us do Steely Dan. And you know, so you got Pink Floyd, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Steely Dan. Believe me, we thought of it, okay? We're trying. It's not easy. And then they'll recommend albums that are things that I don't think we can sell, or they'll recommend albums that I already knew about. Most of the time it's in that area. So, and then most of the times 20 people ask me for the same record. So by the time I do it, I might think it's my idea. You know, that's the way most humans are. It's like you know, now in a way, if I'm gonna put my money up, it is my idea, but sometimes you forget who told you, and you heard it so many times, and you finally, you know, you play it again and you say, you know what, I'm doing this album.
Yeah.
Again, on the other hand, it's not easy to just get any title that they want. You know, it's different bands, it's different labels. It's all about timing. You might be reissuing, you might have 500 records you already got contracts for. Right. You can't add a 501. But in this case, when you recommended Dream with Dean, nobody had mentioned that record. I didn't know about it. Other people afterwards didn't mention it. But I finally found, but a lot of times people say that, and sometimes I don't get around to listening. Somehow I found an original and I played it, and I know, at least I think I know what my customers like and want. It's what I like and want. So, I mean, it, you know, I just melted when, you know, with the first time he opened his mouth. Now, Dean Martin's one of those guys where he might have 50 records and 49 of them are shitty.
Right.
Now, that don't mean he don't have one of the best voices on earth. That don't mean he's not a good musician.
Yeah.
This means the producer was, at the time, was, you know, making records for the time at the time, like you know, the Chet Atkins albums have that Nashville sound that Chet Atkins.
Yeah.
It's a little bit dated. You know, all the Dean Martins have that, and we'll talk about another artist that have that. So, you know, pretty much all the Dean Martin albums, they just ain't to my taste.
Yeah.
I like bluesy, I like sparse, I like jazz. I don't really like, you know, a lot of strings and arrangements and, you know, but anyway, this wasn't like that. It was exactly what I like, and it was exactly different than any of his other albums. So when I put it on, I'm like, yes, oh, yes.
Yeah.
So we got the rights, we were able to do it. There's some funny tidbits. At one time, Uni had the rights to Dean's catalog.
Okay.
It originally was on Reprise, which Warner kind of controls, but then people like Dean Martin owned his own catalog, so he brought it to Uni. So I've been asking Uni for the tape, and they didn't clear it, but they said, Chad, Sony's taking over this catalog. So I typed Sony, I said, I want this record. They go, we don't have Dean Martin. I said, you don't yet, you're gonna have it soon. Man, I don't know what you're talking about, Chad. We don't have this. I'm like, put my list down, number one first, because you're gonna get it. I don't want anybody, you know, jumping in front of me. They go, well, we'll keep it down, but we don't have this. And you know, about a month later, hey man, I don't know how you knew, but we got it. Now they got the whole catalog.
Yeah.
So one of the persons that worked at Sony knew I had this one on my list. And you know, a little bit interesting that he chose out of all the Dean Martin to do the only one I wanted, right? So they did it on 33, God bless them. And we did it on 40, at least they gave it to me on 45. So they did that 33 from digital, and we did our 45 from analog. And, you know, like they say, the rest is history, because, you know, once you hear it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I put it on when people come over here and they're just like, and it's Dean Martin's voice, very, just very warm, rich, and smooth, man. And the great arrangements, sparse arrangements.
Yeah.
They're all live to 2-track. It's pure, man. It's not, you know, 24-track mix. It's pure, man. And every song, one after the other, is killer. Now,
it is.
So I know this particular time, like I said, sometimes I can't give credit where it's due, or there might have been 10 people that mentioned it, or I knew about it already. So it's kind of hard to give credit where it's due. This one, there's no question. You told me. If you hadn't have told me, I wouldn't have bought the original. Once I heard it, I knew that it's like right up my alley, which is right up my customer's alley. And, you know, the other funny thing is, you said, hey man, can you scribe my name on or my initials on the lead out? I'm like, man, Danny, okay,
You're
dude,
asking too much.
I jumped through hoops. I did this, I did that. I mean, what else? You want me to ask Dean if he can come back to life for one day and sing you the album? So I thought, you know what, man, we never do this, but you know, this will be fun. So we had to put DK. So I sent you the test pressing, and you're blown away, and oh man, this is so awesome. You know, so happy. And I'm like, did you notice anything? Oh, dude, that's awesome. I said, well, go look at the lead out. And so if anybody wonders if this whole story is true, go look at the lead out on that album, and you'll see DK, and dedicated to Danny K.
That
And,
I gotta tell you, every time I tell that story, it's always hilarious. I always grab the record when I have friends visiting or I'm at, any other shows and they happen to play it. And I'm like, okay, let me see, let me look. And I'm looking, I'm like, no, I'm not noticing anything. I mean, it's, it looks clean and all, I was trying to figure out what you were getting to. And then, 4DK. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He
Oh,
did it.
yeah,
I'm like, God, wow. So that was extra super special, Chad. Forever enshrined in the history of Dream with Dean. I incredibly grateful. And
well, I appreciate the recommendation because it's one of our biggest sellers. People love it.
I hear it at shows all the time. I mean, it's
well, I mean, man, it's if you're demonstrating,
it is. I mean, I remember. So I had heard the record, and incidentally, because you mentioned the Beatles and stuff, Dean Martin's "Everybody Loves Somebody" was the first record to knock the Beatles off the top spot, the #1 spot on the Billboard 100 back in 60, 63, 64, whenever it was when it came out. So that was the first record. And it remained on the Billboard 100, I think, for 56 weeks or something like that. Long time. I mean, it just goes to show you how popular he was. I mean, he was really, at one point, he was the highest paid movie star in the world. In fact,
really?
when the first movie of that airport disaster movie series came out in 70, he was paid $1 million plus profits on the back end, which at the time was the largest single movie contract for a movie star ever done. And it was just amazing. I mean, the guy was truly a multi-talented, multifaceted, personality, performer. He never took singing lessons. He could carry a tune. I remember reading when I was reading up on him, I guess he did a little bit of prize fighting as a boxer. And then of course the Jerry Lewis, comedy duo, when the two of them got together in the 40s and, they were together for 10 years. And, him and Jerry Lewis, man, I'm telling you, Chad, I mean, that's what I grew up watching. Seriously, all their movies. And, I first heard this record, gosh, I don't remember, a long time ago. And my good friend Pincus, whom he got me a hot stamper. This is when I was still trying to figure out, is this hot stamper stuff for real? Is it nonsense? What is it, right?
I call them hot pokers.
That's right. That's right. So he got me a hot stamper. Like, dude, you got to listen to this one. And man, we put it on and holy cow, like you said, even just the standard issue sounded so damn good. And, Pincus was like, I told you, man, I told you hot stampers really work. Right. So, from there, it was just putting two and two together. And,
pick any freaking, pull any original out. It's, okay.
So anyway, so that was, that was kind of like the precursor of how it all came together. And, gosh, I play this record a lot. I really do. It's such a great sounding record. And, to your point, I mean, he did a lot of schlock, and there's a lot of his records that are kind of like, you listen to them. I mean, there's obviously, you have that Italian period when he went through all the, singing in Italian. And then he did the, what was it? The romantic phase, the swooning at Christmas time and all the snowflakes and stuff that he would do. And I mean, gosh, the guy was really incredibly talented, and the record, and like you said, the voice, you hear it, man. It's like, wow. I mean, he's in your room. It's amazing. And of course, there's obviously, a couple of other folks, Johnny Hartman, that you did, that was a much later recording from 81, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, most recently, the Tennessee Ernie Ford that actually you told me about. I remember we were talking one time and you were like, hey, dude, Tennessee Ernie Ford. And I'm like, who the hell is he? Look him up. And then you're like, dude, it's just like Dream with Dean. And I picked up a mono and it sounds okay. I mean, it's the original doesn't sound anywhere as good as the original Dean Martin Dream with Dean. But anyway, I mean, I guess what's interesting to me is that you're right. All these stars, every now and then, all the planets aligned and all the stars are aligned, and you know they had a record out that where everything just worked, and it's right to be reissued, right?
Well, so basically the reason, I mean, Dean Martin's a great singer and a great musician. You know, he's a great actor, but you know, they were doing too much on his other records to try to be, and they're probably hits. In fact, he does Everybody Loves Somebody, a less polished, a less produced version.
Yeah.
Which didn't make a hit, didn't turn out to be a hit. Whereas, so they were looking for hits, they were looking to be current, but he does this album, which is almost like a jazz album.
Yeah.
With jazz musicians, first rate, recorded just right. And if you notice the album cover, it smokes the original cover. It's a lot clearer if you compare the jacket, the front and the back. Plus, it was never gatefold. But William Voss from Techniques, every now and then will call me, hey, you need to listen to this Tennessee Ernie Ford. Now, he's another person that has a shitload of records. Just so people that don't know, a shitload's a little bit more than a buttload. So he has a shitload of records, and they were trying to produce records of the day, of the time. And he's got a lot of schlocky, if that's the word you could use, records too. Now, he also has one of the best, deepest, best voices there ever was. He was also a famous actor, great voice, sold tons. Tennessee Ernie Ford was big time. It's just, we weren't born yet. So, but I knew he had a voice, and I used to listen to a lot of Tennessee Ernie Ford, just like I listened to a bunch of Dean Martins, but I never found the Dream with Dean, and I never found this Tennessee Ernie Ford, this country hits Feelin Blue. So William Voss at Techniques called me, said, man, I love the Dream with Dean. There's another record that's in that same class. So I played it. I'm like, okay, man, and another reason why, it's because he's doing live to 2-track, only a few instruments, and they're underproduced songs. He's singing like country blues stuff, minimalistic, and he is in the room with, and I mean, Tennessee Ernie Ford. I mean, it's like you see the three musicians, bass, guitar, and Tennessee Ernie Ford in the middle, man, and it's Capitol Studios.
Spectacular.
It's pretty much as good as you get, man. I mean, sonically, musically, everything.
Yeah.
So Dream with Dean and Tennessee Ernie Ford, people, they hesitate to buy it because they know most of the records are schmaltzy, or a bunch of different words.
Schlocky. Yeah.
And both of them, they are. But they both had the best voice. And everybody's like, well, do another Tennessee. Well, shoot, I don't know another one like this. Do another Dean Martin. I don't know another one like this. So another thing that's interesting is if you read about Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra used to go watch Johnny Hartman. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to know, this guy's voice is unbelievable. So they were worshiping this guy who wasn't that famous. They would go see him.
Another
Johnny
legend.
Hartman died young. But people begged me, a lot of people begged me to reissue this album. And I've got a good story about this Johnny Hartman. And so what ties it in it's another Dream with Dean sonically, and it's another Tennessee Ernie Ford sonically, and it's that type style singing,
Yeah.
maybe with a little bit more jazz.
Yeah.
And then that Dean Martin worshiped this guy, and so did Frank Sinatra. It ties all of this in to me. The Tennessee Ernie Ford ties into the Dean Martin, and they both had a lot of records, and they both had a lot of cheesy records, but they both had one good sonically and musically. And the Johnny Hartman, that Dean Martin went to watch Johnny Hartman, and all three of these are excellent, top of the knot, top sonically male vocals. I mean, you just can't top them. And people ask me about this record, and I still have the letter from 1994 where I wrote the owner of this label, Beehive.
No
His
way.
name is Jim. And I wrote him to try to license this record. And he's like, well, son, at first he was real interested in doing it, but then something happened. He called me, said, listen, Hollywood came calling. They want to put it in the movie. And I'm like, yeah, pal, okay. When that don't work out,
give me a call.
Well, as you know, we've had our stuff, and we've had our Jimmy Rogers in a feature film, and we've had our music in movies, but you know, sometimes it just don't work out. It's almost too good to be true because they pay well.
Yeah.
And so I bit my tongue a little bit. Back in my mind, I'm like, all right, sure you do, son. Sure you do. When that don't work out, give me a call. Maybe I'll still be interested in the record. I still have the letter.
Wow.
1994.
That's amazing.
Well, you know what movie it ended up being in?
No.
Bridges of Madison County.
You're kidding. Wow. I had no idea. Interesting.
And there's like 4 or 5 songs from this album. And they did a whole soundtrack, but he's like 90%, 60% of the soundtrack. So not only what did their movie come through, it was a Clint Eastwood movie and maybe one of the top in his career. And then the music was so much of a big part of that movie.
Yeah.
That, I mean, the sound, it came out on CD and they just sold zillions of them. So I had to wait another 20 years. Wait, let's see, 94, 2004, 2014.
25?
Yeah, about 20.
When did it come out? 2016, 17?
2016.
Yeah.
So this album came out in 81. I guess the movie came out around 94.
Yeah.
And I had to wait till 2016. So that's 16 plus 6, 22 years later, I finally got the rights to it. And
good things come to those who wait. In another 20 years, we'll do a Jerry Lewis album.
You just don't give up on it. But, the guy probably it was a good decision. The Hollywood came through.
Yeah.
They sold it. When that was done, 22 years later, they licensed to us, and they're all in the same quality. If you have Dream with Dean,
yeah,
you
know what you're getting.
Ernie Ford, and you're in the same league. Now, here's another thing.
Yeah.
We've got Elvis on here, the Beach Boys. Just to show you what I thought with Dream with Dean, I put I'm Confessing That I Love You, track 1, side 1.
Love it.
We got Aaron Neville.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one, too.
We've got Elvis and Willie Nelson. Anyway, that was Chad Stelly call it.
Oh.
But the wonderful sounds of male vocal.
Killer. Gatefold,
Dean
the whole
Martin,
thing.
Willie Nelson, Aaron Neville, Elvis Presley, Harry Belafonte, Greg Brown, the Beach Boys, J.D. Souther, Tennessee Ernie Ford. So it's cherry pickings of those records.
The best there is.
But But dude, I appreciate you recommending the Dream with Dean, and
hey, you know, Chad, you know, thank you for doing it. Like I said, it means a lot to me. I love the record. I love, you know, Dean Martin as a performer. And, you know, the one thing that I want to leave you with is the Dean Martin TV show. This soundtrack, I guess if you want to call it soundtrack, very close to Dream with Dean. I got to send you my copy so you can listen to it. You know, who knows, maybe something to look at as part 2. We'll see. But Chad, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your help around getting this channel, you know, launched and out to your customers and all that. And you know, you're awesome, man. You're the most legit record reissue person, music person in the whole industry. And you haven't changed a bit in the 20 years that I've known you. You haven't changed one bit. Stay that way. You're absolutely awesome. A game.
Well, dude, that's a lot of compliments right there in a short period of time. Well, we appreciate it, man. We're trying. You know, it's like you got to pay your dues, man. People make
That's
you
right.
pay your dues, and I've been doing it since 1984. And finally, you know, somebody's recognizing that we try just a little bit harder. And we work real hard, man. And we appreciate all the YouTubers, you know, in the vinyl community that, you know, all the nice things, and those who are not so kind. We're trying our best to please you, man.
Can't please everybody.
Hey,
Can't
I'm
please
trying.
everybody.
I mean, I can't please everybody. We sure try.
You're
You know,
doing a great job, and the team over at Acoustic Sounds and Analog Productions, you guys are pleasing the people that care, and that's what matters.
Oh yeah. I think some of the people that we can't please.
Hey, you know, it is what it is.
We try and know. You know, we had somebody mention that they got that impulse box. They had a bad record in it, you know, and we've sold over 100. I went to look up, we can't even find one return, you know, so we emailed on the thing, hey, dear sir, we see you complain, we really want to help you, but please give us a call because we don't see anybody that bought one of these.
Return it.
Asked to return it. So please identify yourself, because we'll do what we can to make it right or give them their money back. And you know, like I said, we try hard, but
You do.
We feel we have one of the best pressing plants on earth. But there's going to be a defective leave here. You know, it's you know, we can't. We try to.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. P.S. To the shipping department, can you get my order of UHQR Miles Davis kind of blew out, please?
Get in line, baby. The first 6,000,
that's awesome.
That.
Good stuff.
Right now, I think we got about 5,000 left to go.
Wow.
I mean, at this rate, a couple of weeks, I don't know. You know, you see comments, well, you know, I'm thinking about buying it. Well, you know, to those who wait and those who are thinking about it, there's always
cry later.
You can always buy them. You can always, you know, and then everybody is complaining about the aftermarket prices. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got to pull the trigger.
That's right. Hey,
I've been stung a few times. When I see a record I want now, I just buy it.
Yeah.
Just buy it. Because the amount of beating myself up I've done when I miss out on something,
same here.
Worth it. Oh, I know you stay on. Well, no, you've been asking for some of that back catalog recently.
Hey, you know, we all make the same mistakes, man. We all make the mistakes.
You missed a few. You stay up. You do a good job.
I try.
I appreciate the orders.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to see you really finding something It's suits you. People, you'll be able to share your excitement with others. I think your channel is going to grow, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. Thanks for all you do for us as a community as a whole. And I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Thanks for recommending Dream with Dean, man. It's really one of our, somebody comes over here and I want to knock that dick in the dirt. That's what I play.
Love it. Awesome. See you, Chad. Thanks a lot,
All
man.
right, dude. Thanks,
Ciao.
man. We'll see you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.